Welcome to Pharmacy Internship 101 episode 2. So in the episode 1 we talked about what sector do you want to actually do your internship in. So right now, since we have decided, in case you haven't watched the first episode, please go back and watch it. So now we're now thinking, okay, we have decided what sector we want to work in. The next thing to decide is location. So as we all know, okay, you guys don't know, so there is a list of accredited places, because in pharmacy internship you can't just do it anywhere you want to do it in. There's a list approved of accredited places that is approved by PCN, which is Pharmacy Council of Nigeria. So under the list, you now think about what states do you want to actually do it in. That's the first question to ask yourself. What state do you see yourself doing that 1 year internship? So a lot of us, we often run away from home because we want to be independent. But I'm here to tell you that the salary they will be paying you is not it's not advisable, unless like you're a trust fund king, that's okay. But it's not advisable for you to leave your home, even if your parents are toxic, even if your family is toxic. It's better you hold your pride and stay at home for that 1 year and save your money. Prevent at least pocket money for rent, pocket money for feeding. Those two things will be out of your cost. The only thing you'll be thinking about is your transportation, your daily living, and any other thing you want to buy. But by the time you add rent, your salary cannot even pay your rent, to my dear. Unless like you want to live, and by the time like a lot of us want to stay in bigger cities, and when you go to Lagos, is it your salary of 150k? That's if you're lucky, that will be paying that rent. So you have to be realistic. Think about it. Stay at home. The only time I'll advise you to leave is if maybe you're living in an ancient state. If you're living in an Asian state that doesn't really have any places to do your pharmacy internship, then that's advisable. But then what you should think about next is applying to places that have accommodation, because some places will actually give you accommodation. Although any place that's giving you accommodation is most likely going to take your life. I need to say that it's most likely low-key slavery. Any place, especially community pharmacy, any place that gives you accommodation, honest, it is almost 100% guaranteed that it's going to be like slavery, because I don't know if they believe that once they give you a place to stay, they own you or something, but it always happens. You can ask anybody, quote me anyway. Okay, but let's go back to what I was saying. So going back now, when you think about where do you want to do, so you think you have to stay at home, then you go through that list. Now you know the sector you want, you know what you're not interested in, so you leave those ones. In every state, it's divided into states. Yes, the list is divided into states. So in every state, you already know where you don't want to work in. So you bring out a book and a pen, or even you can use, if you use an iPhone, you know you can now copy documents. You can like copy a part of the document using an iPhone. So you just copy it, put it into your notes app. Any place that is under the sector you want to work under. Let me say if you're working under community pharmacy, you copy every community pharmacy in that state, put it in your note app. Then from there you start doing which one is closest to me. Please work in a place that's closest to you. Transport is not smiling nowadays. In this Tinubu's regime, it is not smiling. So you cut down any place that you don't think is wise, any place that is too far away, you remove it from your list. Try and narrow your list down. That is how to do this thing. Okay, if you don't want to stay at home, another thing I can advise you is that maybe you and your friends can combine money, or if you know any family friend or know a family member that is living in that state, that's also good too. You and your friend can combine money. But the bad thing about this combination thing is that it's one thing to have a friend and one thing to live with a friend. That's one thing a lot of people do not realize. It's not the same person that you're friends with that really guarantees if you can survive living together. It takes on. That's why a lot of couples, just digress, but a lot of couples, when they are married, when they start living together, they even often break up. It's not easy to live with somebody, so if you know you cannot do that, better stay at home. The devil you know is better than the angel you do not know. So to also talk about, please, if you can find anybody that works in a place, always find out their work ethics. Always find out their work ethics before you go and start. By the time you start working there, they'll collect your Form F. Okay, this is something I need to talk about. Form F is a form that you submit to PSN. You cannot submit it more than 3 weeks. They'll give you during the day before your induction. They'll give you, wherever place you're doing your internship, you submit it to them. They will sign and say that yes, you are working there. Then you go to PSN office and submit it to them, and they will collect the copies. It's normally 3 copies. One is for PSN, one is for where you work, and one is your personal. So well, PSN normally carries 3 sha. They'll send it back to where you're working. So in a place that is very toxic, what they will do is that once you start working, they will collect the Form F immediately, because they know you cannot change your place of working. It's very, very hard. It's very rare. If you're changing, you normally because you have connection. So you that knows you have no connection, listen to me very well. Please, before you apply anywhere, always try and find somebody that works there. If you have any pharmaceutical group, a lot of us are in plenty groups. Find somebody, ask questions. How is this person like? How do they work here? Find out their work ethics. Right now, my friends are working in community pharmacy, because me I already knew how community pharmacies are, but I know that even up to the extent that they will be seizing your phone. They will seize your phone. They'll tell you when you can leave. Sometimes they will extend your shifts. Sometimes the customers will be shouting at you and you cannot say anything. Sometimes they are looking for what is expired or what has expired under your shift so that they can cut your salary. Please, in case you do not know, even the ones that will even be telling you to sweep and mop the toilets, please, always ask how is a certain place. If you don't know, it's better to run away from there. Don't even apply there. But try and find somebody that works in there. Even if you can do an undercover job and maybe collect a pharmacy, just pretend that you came there to visit and collect somebody's number there and ask them. Please, one thing about this pharmacy profession is that a lot of us, we tend to hide information from each other. I don't know why. If you ask somebody a question, they will be doing as if they are the king or queen of the information. We hardly tell each other the truth, and that is why we'll never move forward as a profession. Can't see the medical doctors, their own pharmacy, their own internship process is that they post them there. Us will suffer. By the time we start, we'll suffer. We'll still be working under the same pharmacy people with us. So they will still be the ones treating us like what I don't know. But hopefully we'll change one day, but we both know it's not now. So please find out where you're working before you start working there. Find out the work ethics there. What is their value? How do they treat their workers? Please, to avoid stories. That touch. Goodbye. As an example, how I decided on, I talked about rent, talked about like the main industries, like using myself as an example. As we all know, the main industries, like the main pharmaceutical Baba industries, are not in Enugu. I live in Enugu, so they are not in Enugu. So I had to consider the only one in Enugu is. So I started thinking about it. I realized that I couldn't do it in Enugu. It made me kind of sad, but my own advantage is that I have family members that live in Lagos. So I now said, okay, I can always go to Lagos. And since the main pharmaceutical industries are in Lagos, I was able to go to Lagos. So, but if you know that this is not you, then please think Lagos. You can always go to Lagos and stay there. But another thing is that a lot of people often believe rubbish that the most opportunities are in Lagos. Yes, so I understand that to an extent, because the biggest places, I think there are about 300 and something places in Lagos. Yes. But please, if you know you don't have anybody in Lagos, there's no need coming here, because the rent prices are crazy. My friends that came here, why they were able to come was because they are trust fund children and their parents could afford rent. They are paying, and most part is that when I went to see them, the house is rubbish, but the rent is 2.5 million per month. So if you know you cannot afford this thing, you have to just chest it and understand who you are. Maybe you can change your story later and become the trust fund kid in your head, but right now you know you're not. So please, cut your coat according to your size. That's what I'm going to say. Just respect yourself and stay at home. Save your rent money, save feeding at least.